Welcome back to the Varkha Chulani channel. Today is the day of question and answers with Dear Varkha. Here goes. How do I calm a person who's having a panic attack? Let's understand what is a panic attack before we actually try and help a person with it. Let me explain with an example. I have an exam to give. I am sitting at the examination center waiting for the bell to ring. I can sense I'm feeling nervous. I can actually feel my heart palpitate. I can feel it thump. I can feel that I'm feeling all sweaty and clammy. I feel like throwing up. I'm feeling nauseous because acids are being released into my stomach, but there is no food really to digest. I want to run to the bathroom. They are all classic symptoms of anxiety. I begin to notice my anxiety and I'm trying now very hard not to feel anxious. I'm trying to distract myself to no avail. I'm trying to breathe deeply, again to no avail. My anxiety, in fact, is getting the better of me. The harder I'm trying to stop my anxiety, the more difficult it is becoming for me to try and control. The very fact that I'm unable to control my anxiety now is driving me towards panic. Can you see that panic often is not just an increased version of anxiety, but more often than not, panic is a second order neurosis. What do I mean? When I'm trying to control my anxiety and I'm unable to do so, the very idea of being unable to control my anxiety makes me panic. So panic is often a symptom of anxiety where the person tries extremely hard to control his anxious thoughts, his anxious feelings, realizes that unfortunately he is unable to do so, he is failing, and that leads him to panic. Now coming to the question of how you can help someone with panic. The first thing that if you really want to help someone would be to teach him to accept himself with his anxiety. Yes, I know, ironical and paradoxical. The more I allow someone to be able to experience anxiety and to be able to accept himself or herself with it, in a way, I'm empowering him to not have a panic attack. So if you really want to help your friend manage his panic, give him the permission to first feel anxious. Teach him that he needs to accept that he is an anxious person and allow him to live with his anxiety, so that all then that we would have to deal with is to help him manage his anxiety, rather than because he is so agitated about his anxiety, we will have to not only teach him to manage his anxiety but also manage his panic. Take care and good luck. I think my teenage son is depressed. He stays locked up in his room all day and doesn't want to spend time with us. What symptoms should I look out for and how can I help him? Many a time we make assumptions about certain things. Being locked up in a room by himself is not necessarily a sign of a depression. There are many reasons teenagers particularly stay locked in their rooms. One could be that they want to avoid us parents because they constantly feel that all we are doing is nagging them or telling them something about what they've not done or what they've not accomplished. 2. Your teenage son may be coming into sexual awakening and may be very happy sexually satisfying himself in the privacy of his room. 3. Maybe your son has a girlfriend and looks to chat with her in the privacy of his bedroom rather than out in the open. Maybe your son has taken a liking to Netflix or Amazon Prime and is happy watching his serials uninterrupted. Otherwise, he constantly feels that he is being disturbed and interrupted by you. So, let's not assume that every time a teenager prefers to be by himself or herself, it warrants a title like a depression. If you'd really like to know what is a depression, you would have to look out for certain telltale signs. Examples could be, does he or she avoid his friends? Does he or she not eat at all or sometimes eats too much? Does he or she suddenly put on too much of weight or lose too much of weight? When these extreme signs are beginning to become noticeable to you, it may warrant a closer look. Do they refuse to make eye contact? Do they refuse to go to school? Do they usually avoid interacting with people who are really amiable and friendly with them? These are some signs that you may want to look out for to decide whether your teenage son has a depression or not, but simply because that he keeps to himself in his bedroom may not be necessarily a sign to indicate a depression. How would you like to overcome and help him? You would have to possibly do a few things like engage with him about interests which matter to him. Like for example, what does he think of esports? What games does he like to play? If you could be a participant with him in playing these games, you'll be surprised that when he sees that you are showing interest in what interests him, he may begin to engage with you and involve himself in an interpersonal encounter with you. Try these few tips and do write in if you have any further questions. Thank you. My little sister is slightly darker than me, and I feel like my parents favor me over her due to this. How can I talk to them about treating us equally? Very commendable for you to notice the favoritism, especially when you notice that the favoritism is tilted in your favor. Congratulations on first of all being so perceptive and recognizing this leaning towards you. What you'll have to do is first of all understand certain aspects of a human being. All parents are humans, and because they are humans, they are susceptible to mistake making. What you would have to accept is that since a human being, or rather a parent, is an imperfect person, he or she will have favorites. It is important for you to accept that truth, no matter the fact that you may not like it, because once you accept your parent as an imperfect person, you will be able to make peace with the fact that he or she may not necessarily be doing that deliberately. Second, if you directly confront the parent, making him or her aware of the fact that they are playing favorites because of something as well simple or inane as a skin color, one, they will obviously refute it, because denial is one of the best defense mechanisms that most human beings use. Two, they will not want to admit to you or even to themselves that color of a skin matters so much to them. So what you'd have to do is do it slightly differently, where you possibly bring to their notice that you already feel that your sister, because of her dusky skin, already maybe in comparison to you feels a little inadequate. You see her being withdrawn, you see her alienating herself, and that is something that you don't like and that you would rather that she not do. Maybe when you put it in that way, they can go out of their way to make your sister feel comfortable in her own skin, so to speak. And also realize that at the end of the day, it's just fair skin, something that you and me cannot choose and which we are simply born with. Do it gently, do it in a way which only shows that you're trying to protect your sister, that you feel concerned about how she feels about the color of her skin, and maybe then they will go out of their way to try and possibly do differently. Thank you for watching the Varkha Chulani channel. Please do continue to write at varkha@varkhachulani.com. If you like what you've seen, please press the like button and do share my video. Till then, it's goodbye and thank you.